Hi, friends. What does God's name really mean? Have you ever thought about that? What does God's name really mean? And then what does that mean for us as Christians who take His name, who follow this God, who has revealed His name to us? Where do we go for this in Scriptures? To find out what His name means and find out what His name means for us. Many places, but we can just look at Exodus 3. And Exodus 3 is where Moses encounters God in the burning bush on Mount Horeb or Mount Sinai. And there, God says to Moses, listen, I'm going to send you into Egypt, send you back to Egypt, and you're going to free my people from Pharaoh and from slavery to the Egyptians. And Moses says, who shall I say sent me? You know? And that's a good question, actually, on Moses' part, for many reasons, but here's one of them. There are many gods in Egypt. I probably should have put a quote around there. Many gods in Egypt. And so if Moses is going to come and say, listen, God sent me and told me that you have to free God's people, the Israelites, then Pharaoh is going to rightly ask, which God? Which God sent you? And so that's, I think, what Moses was getting at is like, who shall I say sent me? Right? Like, who are you? What's your name? The gods of Egypt. There were many gods, and these were not gods that made us humans in their image and likeness, as we read throughout the Bible, but especially in the book of Genesis. These are gods who are made in the image and likeness of human beings. I mean, literally, sculpted image and likenesses of human beings and what are important to human beings. But these are gods who are specific to things that are important to the Egyptians, to human beings. So, for instance, there was a sun god and a moon god. There was a river god and a sea god. There was a god of fire. There was a god of fertility, and on and on and on. They had a pantheon of gods, very targeted, very specific. And some of these gods, many of them, they didn't even exist, of course, right? They're made in the image and likeness of human beings, and for specific reasons. But some of these gods actually did exist. They weren't gods, but they were beings who were supernatural, who were spiritual. They were fallen angels. They were demons who were posing as gods. And how do we know this? You will know them by their fruit. So some of these gods, for instance, demanded that the Egyptians sacrifice human beings in order to show their love and their allegiance to that particular God. That is no God I know. And I hope to God it's no God you know. Right? That's not God. But that is demonic. Or worse, even, human beings, but some of them ask for child sacrifices. Some of them ask for babies to be sacrificed. These are demons. They're real and they're posers. Or, the fertility gods. They ask that young girls and boys be human trafficked, become prostitutes in fertility temples where older men can take advantage of these younger girls or boys, and somehow the God is going to bless them through this, and their wives are going to get pregnant. I mean, this is pure evil, right? So these are the gods of Egypt, and they're no gods. If they even existed at all, they're demonic. This is not the God of Israel. In fact, God then says, yeah, I get what you're saying. You need a name, and here's the name. Yahweh. Or more literally translated, I am. I am who am. What is he trying to say? He's saying, I'm the ground of all existence. I am who am. Everything came into being through me. I hold all of existence in existence. There is no existence without me. I am who am. And brothers and sisters, there has been no God in all the world religions, past or present, who has ever made that claim. None. They're more like the gods of Egypt, specifically in one area or the other that is important to us as human beings. No other God has ever made the claim that they are everything and all things, and they hold all things into existence. But here's another part. He tells Moses that he cares for his people, that he actually loves his people. He knows them by name, and he wants to rescue them. They don't have to do a bunch of stuff for him to pay attention to them, for him to love them, for him to save them. He does all of this because he loves us. He's Father, not some taskmaster that needs to be worshipped, right? Like the gods of Egypt, they were made in the image and likeness of humanity, meaning they were jealous, they were combative, they were wrathful, they fought among themselves. When a person didn't please them, they smited them and so on, right? They didn't produce whatever it was, the crop or fertility, or the sun didn't shine or whatever, right? These are no attributes that God attributes to himself. He simply says, I am everything, and I simply want to rescue my people. And they don't have to do anything for me to rescue them. I just want to free them so that I can make them happy. How can he make them happy? By them trusting in him, right? He'll give them everything. He just asks that they're willing to be his people, and he will be their God. And this is huge. This is huge because by the time that we get to Jesus, his very name means Yahweh saves, or I am who am saves. And what happens is that God becomes human in Jesus Christ. And then he shows us how much he loves us. And we don't deserve that love because of our sins. He takes all of our sins into himself, and he suffers the consequences of our sins and of our selfishness and our lives just lived for ourselves and so on, of our fallenness, of our brokenness, of our woundedness. He takes all that into himself, and he says, listen, you don't have to do anything. I'm gonna do it all. I'm gonna die upon the cross. And then by the power of God, I'm going to rise again so that you can be with me forever in heaven, because I am love, and all that love wants to do is give himself away. And so I'm going to give myself away, in the hopes that this finally proves to you that I am who I say I am. And that's what Jesus does. And this is huge. Because here's the deal. We live in a world, not just back then, but also today, where there are many gods. And they're all posers. They're all liars. And they often come in human form, like the powers of this world, who are making all sorts of promises that they can't deliver, and all sorts of demands upon us as humans, not only for our good, no, but for their good. For their glory. Not because they care for us, but because they care for themselves. And they want to shape this world and the vision that they have for humanity, rather than the vision that God has for humanity. These are posers. These are liars. And these are human beings. And these are institutions, right? But it doesn't stop there. We live in a world where there are other posers who are not God, but are demonic, and are offering us all sorts of invitations to follow in their ways, not God's way. And what we'll find happiness in them. we'll find pleasure, we'll find power, we'll find acceptance. And all we have to do basically is just go for the gusto, live hedonistic lives, live the lives that you want to live for you, but just not for God. Just not for God, right? And so they teach us not to worship God and not be a part of a religious community and so on and so forth, but just you live for yourself. You're your own God. You have power over your own mind, your own body. You can do with your body and with your life whatever you want to do. These are the lies that we believe, and these are the lies that we're living, and they come from the demonic. And what ends happening then is that they can't actually deliver on their promises. Oh, they, by living this life, living for ourselves and living that life, we may get, yes, periods of our life where we're happy, where we experience power, wherever the people accept us and so on, but it doesn't last. We only get it for 20 years or 40 years or whatever, however our youth or our beauty or our health or other people accept us, however long that happens. And then that all spirals down the hill. That all gets washed out for any number of reasons and events that happen in our lives. But they can't deliver on the big promise. They can't actually give us happiness forever, joy forever, love forever, community forever, life forever. And so we go for the gods of this world rather than for the God who put us in this world so that we could have him forever. Right? And so we have to ask, we should ask, like Moses, who are you, God? Then we got to be ready to hear what he says. I'm everything. I'm the ground of your existence. I am who am. I'm the reason why you live right now. I'm the one who can sustain you, not just in this world, through the ups and downs of this world, but I'm the one who can sustain your existence for all of eternity, and I'm the one who can fulfill you. And that's the God we worship. What does worship mean? It means to call another worthy. Worthy of our love, worthy of our time, worthy of our attention, worthy of our energy, worthy of us following him, worthy of us being obedient to him. That's what worship is. It's not just on a Sunday for an hour. It's throughout our day saying, you are worthy. I praise you. I adore you. I surrender to you. I give my whole life to you. And when we do that, then we will not fall for the posers of this world, other people, and what they promise they can give us in love and relationships. The culture and the social agendas of this world, the institutions of this world, let alone what is behind them, operating them, which is often not God, but demons posing as God and inviting us into a world without God. Jesus' very name is Yahweh Saves. I am who am saves. Right? And if you believe that, then you darn well better live it. Right? If I believe that, then I should be willing to give up everything for it so I can get everything for it. In fact, everything more than I could ever get on my own, or another person could promise me, or a demon posing as a God could promise me. And that's the meaning of God's name. And that's the meaning of God's name for us. Until next time, friends.